Hello, hello! Welcome back to Talking Tunes, and today we are talking about the 8 tunes on Yes's 24th and brand new studio album, Aurora. Now, is this truly a Yes album, or is this a Steve Howe solo album? Well, uh, just looking at the lineup, some people would say this might as well just be a Steve Howe solo album because, well, John Anderson, who is still alive, but he's not in the band. Who's on vocals on this one? John Davidson, a man whose first name is also John with no H. Chris Squire passed away some years ago. Who's on bass? Billy Sherwood. Alan White passed away about 4 years ago. Who's on drums? I forgot his name. Shit. Jay Shellen, that's his name. So the only two members on this that you could make the argument truly go back to the classic days of Yes are Steve Howe and Jeff Downes. Yeah, if you really want to stretch it, maybe Billy Sherwood, but he was only on, what, the ladder? I think he was he on Magnification? What was the one they put out in 2001? Maybe he was on that, but, yeah. So only 3 members go back to the 20th century, and only 2 of them go back to before 1981. Yeah. No, and only 2 of them go back to before the 90s. So, just based on the lineup, not a lot of hope. But, you can't judge a band by its lineup. But what you can judge it by, or no, I'm having a stroke. You can't judge an album by its lineup. But what you can judge it by is the music contained within it. Starting off with song number 1, the title track. This was the first single release. I did listen to it at the time, and I think it's a decent song. Jeff Downes gives us a very Wakeman-inspired intro. The orchestrations are a little I don't like them. I kind of prefer if it was the band going apeshit, like just playing the same kind of thing or trying to do the same job as the orchestrations, giving it this grand feeling. I just wish that was the band, but unfortunately it isn't. It becomes a 2020s version of their 80s sound for like a minute. And then it kind of, becomes a 2020s version of a 70s sound and its own thing altogether. And overall, I don't know if it's like the production itself or just the fact that this album wasn't recorded to tape or whatever. Or, like, I guess just how it was recorded. But something about how this album sounds throws me off a little bit. John Davidson does hold his own. He has his own unique vocal style. He's still in that John Anderson range. But he has his own unique vocal style that stands out from John Anderson. The lyrics are very Yes in that I don't really fucking know what the hell they're about. Steve Howe is still Steve Howe. He's still good on the guitar. No moments on this album blow me away, which is kind of a preview for the second half. But it doesn't. He's all right. You can still tell it's Steve Howe. Billy Sherwood does, he does decent on bass. And the song certainly makes me think of Yes. Doesn't make me think I'm listening to Yes. We'll elaborate a little more down the line. Song number 2, Turnaround Solution, which is a very Yes title. It's got this it's very 70s Yes-ish. There's thankfully no orchestrations. It sounds a little too modern. Like I said, that's going to be a recurring theme. Jay Shellen is certainly the right man on the drums for this album at the very least. I didn't listen to their last one. Well, maybe I did. But I guess I just wasn't paying all that close attention to it. But he's not a terrible substitute / replacement for Alan White. I don't know if after Alan White died, if Steve called up Bill Bruford and said, "Hey, maybe do you want to, come in for this?" And I think Bill Bruford's technically retired and doesn't really have a whole lot of interest in touring, but it would have been cool to have him show up in the studio at least for one song or something. But sadly, it's not Bill Bruford. It's Jay Shellen, who he's the right man for this album. Yeah, so that's Turnaround Solution. Song number 3, Love Lies Dreaming. There's a flute in the intro. Steve Howe breaks out the acoustic. The sound for a second reminded me of Drama. It sounds like Yes, but can it hold its own? If you put it up against, something, hell, even from Drama, or something from the Yes album, or Fragile, or fucking, I was going to say Relayer, not Relayer, Going for the One. If you put it up against, something from one of those, does it hold its own? Probably not. The bass tone is certainly, like, the bass tone is right. It sounds like the classic Chris Squire bass tone. But is that how Chris would have played it? We don't know. Of course, Chris wanted Yes to go on. Like when it was apparently like the last phone call he had with Billy Sherwood, like, apparently he was just like, I want the band to go on, because, those two were kind of friendly, from my understanding. He was like, I want the band to go on, and you are the replacement. And Billy Sherwood was like, well, you're going to beat this. And unfortunately, he did not beat the cancer. But yeah, unfortunately, with, only Steve Howe going back to the classic days, those are the questions you find yourself asking on this album. Song number 4, Counter Movement. It's the longest song on the album by several minutes. It clocks in at nearly 14. At nearly 14 minutes. It doesn't really start like the typical big Yes 10-minute song. Like even Yes's shortest long songs start out with like this big holy shit intro. I mean, Heart of the Sunrise, which is like 11 minutes. That's like, or fuck it, Machine Messiah. Like, that has a big holy shit intro. And that song's, 10.5 minutes long? So it's, this song doesn't really have a big intro like that. Steve Howe, sings at the start of it. At least I think it's Steve Howe. I don't think it's Billy Sherwood. It has a section that reminds me of, like, the first half of I've Seen All Good People. AI mentioned, it's like, they say something about AI, and then the lyrics, I forget how it goes, fuck me, it's just like, I don't want to be a digital version of myself. That's not the tune. That is not at all how the song goes. But yeah. But it's about why AI sucks. And then, unfortunately, something that should never be said about a song by Yes, the song is too long. The song is too long. It's good, but it's too long. And unfortunately, this is the last song that makes me truly go, okay, I'm enjoying this. Sadly. Kicking off side 2, we have song number 5. I'm going to call it Adrian. That's not how it's spelled. I don't think that's how it's pronounced. It's not even about anybody named Adrian. It's spelled Ariadne. I don't know how the fuck to pronounce that. The orchestra is back, and it still sucks. It has the most Yes-like vocal moment on the album. Again, the modern production is still throwing me off, But unfortunately, I don't find the song all that interesting. All Hands on Deck, it's very yes-like, complete with not good lyrics. That's all the more I wrote about it. That's all the more the song has. It's like 3 minutes 40. It's not good. It's not a good song. Sadly, neither is Outside the Box, because it's because, Steve Howe, Billy Sherwood, and John Davidson do vocal warm-ups while Steve and Billy are playing, their acoustic guitars, and then it becomes a 90125 B-side. And then song number 8, Emotional Intelligence. It's the shortest on the album. It starts like a fucking Disney song. It sounds like a Disney song. That's not good. When you have a band with a name and a legacy like Yes, and the final song on your album sounds like a Disney song, and it doesn't sound shit like Yes, that's not good. That is not good. They should have closed with Counter Movement. They should have closed with Counter Movement. So, what's my verdict? Do I think this is a Yes album, albeit a not great one, or do I think this is a Steve Howe solo project with the Yes name slapped on it? Sadly, I have to go with the latter. Not the Yes album, the latter option. The latter's not that good either. But yeah, sadly, I have to go with that. I wanted to like this album. The first half is decent, but it just doesn't scream Yes to me. If this was a Marillion situation, Marillion, if you don't know, is a band that started in the 80s that was very sonically inspired by 70s Genesis. If this was a band with the name of, I don't know, Swirl or something. Not Swirl, that's stupid. If this band was named Affirmative or something like that, and this was the album they put out, I'd say, well, this definitely sounds like Yes and is a little bit uneven, but is one of the best albums I've heard in a long time. Or one of the best albums I've heard of the 21st century. Unfortunately, this is not by a band called Affirmative. This is an album under the name of Yes. I know Chris Squire wanted the band to continue after his death, but for me, this just isn't Yes. Unfortunately. Yes, it has Steve Howe on it. Yes, it has Yes, it has the Roger Dean album cover. Yeah, and it even has the name Yes on it. But this isn't a Yes album. I really wanted to enjoy it. I really wanted it to sound like a Yes album. And it sounds like a Yes album. But to me, it's not a Yes album. But that's not to say it's totally unsalvageable. Listen to Aurora and listen to Counter Movement. Those are the two where I'm like this is decent. They're not gonna, if you are a Yes fan, if you are a fan of the era of Yes that I'm a fan of, the prime 70s era, that's, the Yes album through Drama, neither of those two songs are going to blow you away. But, yeah. Unfortunately, it's just not a Yes album. Thank you all very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like on it. If you have something to add, if I missed something, if you disagree with me, please feel free to let me know in the comments section down below. If you want to hear me talk about something other than music, I have a podcast with two of my buddies. It's called Dorkies. I will leave a link to that in the description down below. And if you want to hear what I happen to be listening to that day, you can follow me on Instagram. I will leave a link to that in the description down below. I post a song on my story there every single day. And with that, I would like to thank you all very much for watching and remind you to stay weird and keep jamming. See you in the next one. Take care.